Heading into a slice of breaking news on this very story. We've been bringing you the number of opposition parties that have announced they're not going to be attending the inauguration event that's going to be taking place on Sunday on the 28th. The Congress has now made it clear. Remember, they were one of the parties that really led the charge in terms of the statements they were making. Now they've made it amply clear that they will be boycotting the Parliament inauguration event. We have a total of 19 opposition parties that have decided to boycott the event. Let's go back to my colleague Pallavi, who's with us right now. Pallavi, share with us, please, the details of the letter. We're just sharing with our audience your screenshots. It isn't possible to read what the letter says.
So it's a letter which I'm pointing out over here and which we are getting on our screens, and essentially signed by 9 opposition political parties which I was talking about, which includes very quickly TMC, AAP, the Congress and the Shiv Sena. And in that letter very clearly they talks about that this is a momentous occasion, but despite our belief that the government is threatening democracy and not disapproval in the autocratic manner. So essentially, just to do a crux of it, the same point which I was talking about. In this letter, very clearly, they are accusing the government of being autocratic, of being fascist, scant regard for the parliamentary democratic norms, and therefore there is no reason why we should be a part of it. In fact, I think it was very cryptically put by the TMC's Derek O'Brien yesterday when he said it's about I, me, myself of the Prime Minister, count us out. That's essentially the point which is being made in this very one-page brief letter signed by all the 19 opposition parties, where interestingly parties like the BRS or the YSR, which is Jagan Mohan Reddy's party, have not been signatories of, which is again, I would say, not been much of a surprise. They've usually kept themselves out of this entire idea of opposition unity. So essentially this letter, they're talking about the fact is, scant regard for parliamentary democracy, you're autocratic in your style of functioning. How do you expect us to be a part of this inauguration, which is a violation of the Constitution's principles?
Pallavi, can you just bring our audience's context? You've laid out the names, and it's very clear that there is pretty much cross-national appeal when it comes to this issue. There are parties coming in from pretty much every state, and that's exactly what I'm going to ask you next. A, can you list out for us those 19 parties? Then can you tell us interesting parties that have not sided yet? You pointed out right now YSRCP. You also said that that was along expected lines. Any other interesting choices that parties have made?
Well, I mean, the 19 parties which we have been putting out on our screens, of course, is Congress, the DMK, the AAP, the Shiv Sena, the Samajwadi Party, the Kerala Congress for that matter, the Trinamool Congress, JDU, the NCP and the Shiv Sena. We are talking about the Indian Muslim League, the DMK and so on and so forth. What is missing, of course, is parties like the BRS who have yet to make their stand clear.